Chat. 3. Night 5. Should it be taking this long? No. I'm gonna roll the dice. Got a 5, which is very fitting for tonight. Few things before we start. I'm gonna wait for people to get in, but like few things. This is part 3. This is stream 3 of stupid night 5. I'm gonna just destroy this game. And this way I'm gonna just delete the game. If I wasn't literally paid to play this game, I would just delete it. My plan is to go late tonight if I can't beat it. But I have nowhere to be tomorrow, so I'm just kind of like gonna vibe. If Liam needs to sleep, he's gonna go sleep on the couch. But I'll be up and sleeping most of tomorrow. Yeah. Chat, I have a complaint. A very important complaint today. So you know how Oreos, like, I'm gonna show you the empty Oreo, but you know how the Oreos have like this little tab on it? You can open it, right? We got some Oreos the other day. And it has the tab on it. Oh, it does have the tab. I'm just stupid. I'm stupid. Okay, so it turns out that one does have it. However, I didn't know it had that. Because I have had it happen. I swear, that has happened before. Okay, so Liam, anything you want to say before we start? Yep. I'm honestly just putting this off for a hot minute because I don't want to do it.
Do it. You have to open it anyways.
Okay, chat. So. You know the drill, chat. Welcome back to Five Nights at Freddy's. Night 5. Whoa, okay. Yeah. Hi, Jamie. That was for Jamie, Sean. We're gonna continue on night 5. Hey, Casper. Long time no chat. Did you end up finishing your slushie? Can't hear you over. That's a problem for next thing. Okay. Escape the game. Check out the settings. Okay. Chat, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, chat? Can you hear me better now? Like, am I louder compared to the game? Where's my gain? Well, I know the game silent is not on. I have my gain up as much as physically possible. I have my thing up as much as physically possible. I'll turn the game down a bit. If it doesn't work now, I don't know what to do, because these are the settings I had yesterday. Okay, chat. You know the drill. What was that?
Children in the hallway.
Ah. Okay, chat. Actual attempt 1. Obviously, the original attempt 1 doesn't technically count for the pure reason of We actually didn't play it. Okay. Yep. Bonnie, check for Chica. Check on Foxy. He's doing nothing particularly interesting. I can imagine I beat it the first try today. Hi, Foxy. Hey, we're doing good. Foxy's still there. Whoa! I didn't like that. It was Chica. Chat, we have birthday cake Oreos for Fnaf because it's definitely my birthday today. 100%. It's not my birthday, chat. Okay. Good start. Not a good start. Fox is being extra creepy.
Oh. Huh.
What? What, hun?
I'm just gonna send this. You know, telescope pictures, I guess would make sense. It's a screenshot, so. Oh, the game's really small.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. And it's not on mine. I can see it on yours.
No, I can see it too, hun.
Yeah. That's just funny.
This game had to be 9 minutes long. It can't be like 2.
It's the shortest one out of all of them. Out of like all the games like this. And number 4, it's 10-15 minutes. So
It's 10 minutes 15 or it's 10 to 15 minutes.
10 to 15.
Per night.
It starts out at 10 minutes and it goes to 15. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I played before.
Hey, Bonnie, can you just, like, get out of here? I don't know why every time I play this, I seem to get more scared.
Because you're anticipating it.
Also, I'm gonna be terrified when I actually hit 6 a.m.
Yeah, because you're just gonna hear the yay, and you'll be like, what the fuck?
Honey, just leave me alone. It's 3 a.m.
Why am I scrolling through the Honorary Chaos server and I just see exotic colors? Fair, but what the hell?
Hey.
Ow.
It's 4 a.m. You got this?
You're gonna jinx yourself.
Getting close to 5 a.m. 5% battery. Probably not gonna make it.
Alright,
5 a.m. I'm only on 2% though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have about a minute. I'm not gonna make it.
No, probably not. The longest I've seen someone hold this out for is 30-45 seconds.
Yeah. Thank you, Freddy. Okay. is this game being stupid? It's not letting me make it bigger. I didn't do anything to it since last time. Oh. Thank you, hun. This is why you're my boyfriend. To fix all of my internet problems.
It's not an internet problem. You're just slightly incompetent apparently now when it comes to OBS.
I'm always slightly incompetent.
I know.
Hey, chat. Oh boy.
Let's do this again.
And again and again. I still have to do night 6.
And 2020 mode. 2020 mode.
I never said I was completing 2020 mode.
No, but you still have to do it.
I still have to do it at least once. This wouldn't be as painful if it was a shorter game. So I hate getting to like the last minute of it and then dying. So we don't use typically as much power at the beginning of the, at the first night.
At the first night or first few hours?
First few hours.
Yeah.
Like the first hour, not usually much happens.
No, that's how it is in all of the games, other than number 4. Also, night 6, you do have a chance to get Golden Freddy, which means your game will break.
What do you mean?
It'll crash. You won't just die like that. It will completely crash your game.
Why?
Because that's just what happens.
That sounds unnecessary.
Oh, it is. But that's just what happens.
Was that an intentional thing?
Yes.
For it to crash the game?
Yes. Golden Freddy is a god character.
Oh boy. Also, have you seen how red my cheeks are?
Yes. That's what happens when you shower at really hot temperatures.
In my defense, I was pretty cold.
It was 70 degrees in the house.
And I had just finished eating an entire pile of ice.
And that's why you pace yourself.
And I love you.
I love you too.
Good. So love me more.
Also, I am judging you on how you were cold, considering I just finished almost an entire tub of ice cream.
My body doesn't regulate temperature. I should probably get that looked at, but like...
Neither does mine.
I'm convinced that's normal.
It's not. I think poor regular circulation is not normal in the slightest. Lovely shade green outside.
Why is it green outside?
It was just raining and it's supposed to storm tonight.
Oh, why is it green?
What?
And that doesn't really explain why it's green outside. Okay, chat. We got this. Hey, baby. Kisses. Hey, baby. Hey. Ah, frick.
Okay, got what you good.
You want to try, hun? Oh, boy. Okay. Got like what? 12 hours to play this game? I don't even know. Just got cameras set up. Foxy. Okay, we're just gonna chill for 2 hot seconds. Doing good. Foxy's not an issue at the exact moment. Chica's in the kitchen. Foxy's not an issue yet. Okay, not expecting that one. Chat, I'm gonna be so happy when I get to finally finish this game and say F you to the game. But then, we'll play Fnaf 2. But I'm determined I am going to stream, unless it literally takes me 2 days to stream. To get through night 5. I'm just gonna stream until I get to night 5. And then, do like a few hours on night 6. A few hours on night 6. Be done with it. Yep, let's go here. All good. We're doing a grand old time. We're having a lovely time here. Okay. I'm just. I know I'm bad at video games, but like seriously, this is getting excessive. She is something of an issue right now. Okay, so that should be right outside my door. We're only at 1 a.m. I'm halfway through 1 a.m. Okay. 2 a.m. Try to be a little more conservative. Just take it slow. Don't react to. Okay. I am. 3 a.m. soon. 3 a.m. soon. 3 a.m. Okay. Okay. You doing fine? You're fine. Chica, please leave. Okay. 3 a.m. I am getting progressively more frustrated with this game as we are reaching almost hour 7. This is hour 7. We're almost reaching hour 8 of this game. I was doing so well, too. Oh, boy. I'm just gonna vibe for a hot second. Set up. Little squeak for luck. Okay. Okay. Jumping progressively getting more and more terrified of this game. We should be. Right away. Think. Yes. Frick. Mess up the camera. Mess up the camera. Thank you, Jay, for the hydrate. Okay. Now's the time. Now's the time. It has to be. Right. F you, Liam.
Love you.
F you.
Hey guys.
Chat. Be nice to chat.
Hi chat. Hydrate.
Yeah, I already did. Jay has proof. Jay saw the stream. Jay, you 100% saw me hydrate. Now, Joseph, why do I for some reason not believe you? This box is out. Jay, for some reason I don't believe you. Yeah, then what was the crochet pattern? Okay. You have a kingdom? Oh, you started LARPing. I wonder who got you into that. Can't possibly imagine. Is it Kingdom of... Is it the Kingdom of Joseph Jane Jeffrey? I sure hope so. So yes, I did. Okay. You just saw me hydrate just then. And if you didn't, too bad. Okay. I'm doing fine. Okay. 2 a.m. any second now. Or it is at 2 a.m. We're going to be at 2 a.m. any second now. Mistaken. Yeah, we're at 3 a.m. Doing good? Yeah. We're doing good. We're not saying anything because we don't want to jinx it, right, chat? For Chica. Whoops. Yep. Hey. We should. Good. We're doing good. Foxy. Check on Freddy. Light. Light. Yep, that's fine. That's fine. Wait a second. Check again. Close the door. Frick. I'm just gonna. Whoops. Thank you, Jay, for contributing. Hey, we should be. And here I was thinking I was doing well. Okay. Hey, Jay, can you tell me what the cosplay stream is actually at right now? Like, for percentage-wise? Jay, would you like to update me on that percentage? Hoovy! Thank you for the bits, Hoovy. I don't appreciate getting jump scared, but thank you for the bits. Your face is so cold. That is actually very appreciated.
Hey, Hoovy. Welcome. Sorry,
Hey,
I
Hoov.
stabbed you in the eye.
Hey, Hoov, how are you doing?
Why are you wearing my finger knuckle?
It's a good fidget.
It is. No, I agree. That's why I leave it here.
You're also a good fidget. Playing with your hair specifically. Chat.
Casper, I know you have pasta.
What type of pasta?
The spaghetti bolognese.
Ah. How be you a lot?
How be you?
I'm a lot. No, I had a great day at work. I drove my coworker home. Because it's raining here, so I just drove her home.
Honestly, doing at an 8.5 right now.
A solid 8.5 out of 8.5?
I'm happy vibing, because Casper and I were being stupid in the kitchen.
If I go there...
Get unpushed.
If I go into the kitchen and there is a mess...
No, there isn't.
Okay, good. Did you put away the cake?
The not cake?
Did you put away the not cake?
There's no cake there to put away.
I meant the plate.
No, because there's nowhere to... Bonnie! There's
nowhere to Bonnie!
There's nowhere to put it. Kitchen.
Yum. Jack, don't eat the kitchen. That is a terrible idea. Don't eat a kitchen! Oh, that scared the bejeebers out of me. You don't even know what I did. Actually, it was your fault. It was your fault, because you're very terrifying. No, you left something on the floor and it touched my foot and it freaked me out. Yes, you did. There is something on the floor because I just touched it. Oh. The trash. So I think it's there. Your Copic markers. No, like the wrapping paper. What do you mean, yeah, no, that was me? It was definitely you. Now, why would Casper come into our room? Yeah. We got a 4.2 in the chat. Okay, Hoovy, you're being told to do better in life. Now, Casper. You're burnt cheese. Do.
This is To be fair, I was in there messing with my markers earlier. Yeah. No, but it wasn't you. It was me. I did leave it there, and I knew I left it there. I was just being an idiot. Okay.
Do you, though?
Do I, though? Yeah, I do. Also, you're gonna die. Get unpushed.
do you mean I'm gonna die?
You're gonna die. Debbie, I love you, but you're at 3 a.m. and you're at 30%, just over. So you'll die to percentage loss, or Foxy will come in with your percent.
Well, I mean, at 4 a.m.
If you can try and space out 20% in 3 minutes. Might die to Freddy. Oh, wow. Yeah, you're gonna lose.
Really? Now what gave that away?
As I said that, it updated an entry. So, anyway. Also, I saw Foxy drop your power down from 13 to 7, which is why I said you're gonna lose, because you would have lost power.
No point, I'd already been killed by Freddy. Okay! I'm glad I got my emotional support boyfriend.
I'm the emotional support.
You're the emotional support boyfriend.
Okay. Nothing else. Got it.
No, you're just a boyfriend at this point.
Well, I am, but okay.
You could just consider being my boyfriend. To decide who had to be it for tag.
I just have it stuck in my head.
You used to use that song to decide.
I'm the emotional support.
Jasper, if you were the emotional support, you'd be in the room with us. You is my emotional support gay. Every gay needs an emotional support gay. You need about 12 and they all kind of huddle together. Oh, hi. Okay. Alright. and less alright. You can enjoy drawing. You can enjoy your drawing. What are you doing?
Hi, Emo.
Emo, you look very lovely today. On a scale of, I'm probably doing this, on a scale of 1 to 8.5, I'm probably doing a solid, I'd say 6.7. But yeah, that 4.2 is channel points, not your actual scale of the day. Okay, Hubi, what is your ranking on today's? The Eepy, Eepy boy. Where I am. Okay. We're probably not going to win this one. Exhibit A. Olio.
Don't throw your bow on the bed.
I'm hating this game more and more. Is it supposed to take this long to beat the game?
Probably not.
Hmm?
Probably not.
Well, so I'm just terrible at this game.
Yes.
See, I know people a lot of times will go to just night 5. I, however, do go to full thing.
I forgot to put the
Because Jamie paid me to at least attempt it.
the Twitch into the thing.
Not promising I'm going to complete 2020 mode, or whatever the frick that one's name is.
Yep.
Ika.
Because your existence is really unnecessary right now. Hey! Like I said that she disappeared on stream for me. That was funny.
Can you manifest Bonnie disappearing?
Bonnie, fuck off.
Thank you.
Yo.
I'm going to check on me. What request? Did you request something of me and I just completely, like, forgot? If I did, that would check out. Ah, you requested a day off. Got it.
Damn.
What?
What did we say?
Oh, yeah, no, that checks out for work. They either, depending on your work, I had one place that, like, never would really get back to you, and they just kind of would, like, not schedule you. And the place I work at now, like, they'll approve your request within, like, 24 hours, normally. And I have yet to have a request not granted at my current work. Mind you, I've only had, like, 4 requests over the, 7 months I've been going there. But, like, you know.
Yeah, so you get a certain amount of paid time off.
Well, I wasn't going to win that one anyways, so.
No.
We do.
Yeah, protected paid time.
You get a minimum of 2 weeks vacation.
You use it or lose it.
Depending on the place. Well, it's one of those things. They're required to give you the money in a few different ways. They can either have it stacked, you can obviously take your vacation time, or they do a payout at the end of a certain period.
Yeah. Usually people, if you do for vacation time, it's they'll just pay you while you're gone.
Yeah, that's the most common thing. But if you don't use all your vacation, it'll either be paid out to you at the end of whatever the 12-month period is, like whenever they decide to do it.
Nice.
Yeah, because it doesn't go by hours; it goes by days. And in Canada, it works also depending. it's provincial, but it also works depending on how many years you've worked. So most provinces, I think excluding Quebec and Saskatchewan, it's 1 to 4 years at a company, 2 weeks vacation per year. 5 to 19 years, you get 3, and 20 plus, you get 4. Minimum.
Imagine working there for like 20 years and you ask for an entire month off of work. I don't know. But I gained 3 weeks total in PTO. Ooh, nice.
I don't know what that is.
Paid time off.
Oh.
Is PTO.
I just want to think that's the bare minimum we have to be given.
Yeah, we cannot be given any lower. Or you can be given more, but that is to your employer's discretion.
Yeah. They can give you, like, realistically, like, think about a school teacher. They get, like, what, 12 weeks off in a year? Technically?
Less than. Or technically, not including, but yeah. Like, if you do not include summer, like, in the school year, September to, June, not including weekends. They get almost all holidays.
They get every holiday.
Yeah, they get every recognized holiday.
Plus their summers.
I would say I'm doing this not including summers. Put down the door. Or I guess don't put down the door because Foxy. Don't put down the door.
Maybe can you please play around?
In a minute. I still have food. And yes, we're going to do this again.
What?
And yes, I'm going to continue eating my food slowly. You got it both. Nice. See, I'll refer one to the other. Yeah, protected paid time off or paid time off.
Yeah. But it's also like in Canada they can't like you can't work more than 8 hours a day.
That's not true.
You can't unless there is either overtime or you get additional time off.
Also not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. My dad can work 12-hour shifts. It's within his contract. If that's the thing, if you're contracted out in Canada and you end up working over the...
Yeah, if you willingly choose to work overtime.
No, it's not. No, let me finish. If you end up working over 8 hours, your employer can argue that that is in your contract and they do not have to pay you overtime, and that is legally allowed. It just, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Usually employers are less stingy about overtime. But where my first job, we didn't get paid overtime. We didn't. We got banked hours. So
yeah, that's also a common thing.
Yeah, you rack up a certain amount of hours. 9 to 9. You rack up a certain amount of hours, you can get a day or two off.
Yeah. Well, it's not illegal to work more. You just have to be compensated if you end up working more than 40 hours a week. To some extent.
I don't remember the exact...
Like, when my father... when my dad worked in the mines, essentially he essentially worked for 2 months straight.
Mm-hmm.
But what they did is, instead of paying him overtime, they paid him throughout the next, I think it was 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 6, 8 months, because he did it as a summer. What it was, he did it as a summer term for either 3 to 4 months during his summer between university years. And then what they did is, instead of paying him all for all what he did in the 2 months, or in the 4 whatever it was months, they paid him for basically the entire school year.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a decent paycheck every week because because that's how the contract was set up. Is, you work 12 hours a day for 7 days, like 7 days a week, basically for 2 months.
Hi, welcome to chat.
Hi. That's how it worked for him, and that was essentially him banking hours.
Yeah. With some work, if you don't use those banked hours, you lose it. So, like, when I was working, I banked a total of, like, a week's worth of hours. Because I would work 10 hours every day. I went in an hour before work and an hour after work to set up and take down. And I banked hours for that. I ended up banking a whole week worth of hours. And at that point, I started in June, and I ended in August because I was fired. I never got to use those hours.
Well, if you're fired, you're fired.
Well, yeah, I know. But I mean, like, it's one of those things. Like, I can't say I was technically fired because I was still in, like, my 3 months.
You were technically fired.
I was let go. But they tried to say that they let me use my banked hours when I was taking a week off for school, work, and camp. Which they weren't allowed to do because I signed a contract saying that they can't do that. By all technicalities, is they should have paid me for that week of banked hours, and they didn't.
Yeah, chat, that is one thing. If you are not working, please read the employee contract. Ideally, get a copy of it yourself.
If you can.
Yeah, sometimes you can't, but make sure you read it. And if you don't understand anything and need clarification, ask. That is one thing about contracts. You actually read it. And if you don't understand, you ask questions. Because you can ask questions after you sign it, but you've already agreed to the terms.
So just ask while you're at it.
Yeah.
It makes your life more simpler. Yes, your employer may look annoyed. That's their problem.
Yeah, but honestly, if there is an employer trying to get you to sign your employee contract without like properly giving it a look, run. Thankfully the place I worked was like really good about it. It's like, okay, like, because I was technically already being paid before I signed my contract because I had to read through the handbook and stuff. But it's like, okay, take as long as you need to read it and understand it, sign it, and give it back to us when you're done. Which I think is the correct way to deal with it.
It is. That's how they're supposed to. Obviously, they don't always.
Well, the thing is, especially because I know a decent chicken chat has like maybe only had one job before, never had a job before.
Or had a couple.
Yeah, or maybe only had summer terms or something. But read your contract. Know what you are allowed and what you aren't allowed. And they cannot change anything in your contract without you agreeing to it. So if they want to change your hours or whatever,
you ask them to give it to you in an email or in writing.
Yeah. Well,
that they are 100% changing this, because if they don't, you are liable.
Well, the thing is, they legally can't change your contract without you being aware of it.
Or giving free consent. You have to have written consent. All employers have to have written consent about them changing your hours. Not a verbal agreement, a written agreement.
Yeah.
This is what your hours are.
This is not like, if, say hypothetically there's 1 week that you end up only working, like you normally work 4 days a week, but say one day you end up working 2. And that only happens once. That's not necessarily something to, like, in my opinion. Like, if it's an issue, like, bring it up. But overall, every once in a while that happens with employers, just
having too many people on shift or whatever.
Having too many people on shift or, whatever. Things happen. If it's a one-off, it's a one-off. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't get too fussy about that personally.
If it starts happening,
but say it happens
all the time.
But say it's you're supposed to work 4 shifts a week and you end up working 2 once a month, and then every 2, it becomes a repeating pattern. It's the first week of every month you only work 2. Figure out why. For my work, one thing about my work is we had this thing where it was basically we had a letter, like a form to fill out at our work, and it was basically said if your hours are changing, like in September, because they employ a decent chunk of students, like mostly university students, but a couple of high school students. They basically said, let us know what you can work in writing, and we'll make it happen. And I asked to go to less hours once I start school. No questions asked. I'd already actually told them what my schedule was going to look like in the fall before I had written that. And they had already written it on my schedule prior to me writing it on paper. But they said I still need to write it on paper, just more for the legality of it, so I don't get mad at them and they don't get mad at me and whatnot. That's also, and that's,
don't forget to hydrate.
Yeah, and that's also a thing both directions. If you are only supposed, if you when you joined said I only want to work 24 hours a week, 3 8-hour shifts, say that, and they start putting you onto 4 regularly, and then especially if you're a student, don't allow them to do that. In my very uneducated opinion, don't let them do that. If it's an odd week where they, you work 2 shifts a week and you end up working a third one, probably not the biggest deal. But again, it's the repeating pattern of it. Does that make sense? Because, I'm going to be working a few days a week during the school year, but that's because I'm also in school full-time. Technically, I'm going to be having I'm going to be a full-time student, and I can't be a full-time worker as well because I would literally never have a day off. And I don't know about you, but that's not very good. One thing, since we're on this topic, one thing I would recommend is when you, so all places have different requirements for breaks. Here, they have to give you an 8-hour shift, a 30-minute break, and a 15-minute break.
Some places will put that all into 1 hour. Some places will give you 2 15s and a 30, or just the straight
Here,
hour.
Here, it's a minimum of they have to give you that, though. They have to give you at least a half hour and at least a 15.
Yeah, depending on the hours you work. If you work an 8-hour, the minimum is half an hour and a 15.
Yeah.
If you're working a 4-hour, it's a half an hour.
Oh, one thing I found out, the last place I worked was doing something not actually legal.
Oh, what? What were they doing?
So you get a half an hour.
Yeah.
Once you do 5 hours.
Yeah.
They would only give you a 15.
Oh.
But if I didn't know about that when I worked there, because the place I work now, thankfully, has all of the policies, like the government policies, on on our pegboard.
Yeah, everyone deserves their half an hour and their 15.
Yeah.
Unless they are working less than 5 hours.
Yeah, and then they still get a 15.
Yeah.
Like,
some places will give half an hour. It really
the
depends
thing is,
on
that's
the
the
employer.
minimum they have to give.
The minimum is a 15-minute break, even if you're only working 2 hours.
Yeah.
You always get your 15-minute break. Well, actually, you legally can't work 2 hours. They have to write it off as 3 hours.
Yeah. I think in Canada it's if you work less than 4 hours, you don't get a break. If you work at least 4 less than 5, you get a 15. If you work 5 to just under 7 hours, you get a half hour. At 7 hours, you get the half hour and 15. Yeah, every place is different. The previous place I worked, like I said, kind of did an illegal. And if you worked 5 hours, would it give you a 15? They give you 15, they wouldn't give you a half hour, which I didn't know about until after I left there. But it's a good thing to be aware of.
I know a lot of places will. So my first job, the one I got fired from, is they would make us have a paid half an hour lunch and an unpaid half an hour lunch, and they would just put it straight into an hour. So you're just having a straight hour lunch. Half an hour is paid, half an hour isn't.
Yeah, which is allowed.
It is allowed, but what they would do occasionally, and they would very much divvy it up because it was written paper. Good night, Casper.
Hi, Casper.
Because it was written on paper, is they would sometimes have the full hour unpaid or the full hour paid. And generally it was the person in charge who would get the full hour paid, and we as the employees would get the full hour unpaid. That is illegal.
Yeah.
Very illegal.
The thing is, and places can give you unpaid lunches if that is in your contract.
Yeah, but you have to have at least 15 minutes of a paid break.
Yeah.
That is the law.
Yeah. Like where I work, I get a paid lunch. My break is paid and my lunch is paid. The previous place I worked, my lunch wasn't paid, which sucked because in order to get a full hour, like a full 8 hours, you had to actually be there an extra half an hour, which sucked.
My previous place of employment, I got two 15-minute breaks and a half an hour break. The 15-minute breaks were both paid. The half an hour was not.
Yeah, that was the same with my work.
Yeah, but I only worked like 12 to 8. I worked 8 hours, so I was paid half an hour and unpaid. So I technically worked like 7.5 hours, but it counts as 8 because they don't do half an hour things of work, because then it would look like you're being paid less than minimum wage, and they can't do that legally.
We were 100%. If we were only there for 8 hours, we only got paid for 7.5.
Yeah, they can't. That's illegal.
No, because we had an unpaid break. They could schedule us for that.
They have to pay you the full 8 hours.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. They do legally. They cannot pay you for 7.5 hours. They have to pay you for the full 8 hours. That is the law.
Well, because you're not being paid for lunch, and that's in your contract.
Yeah, but in most contracts, it's you are working 8 hours regardless of your paid lunch, your unpaid lunch, or your paid lunch or not. You're working 8 hours. You are being paid for 8 hours. So what your previous place of employment did is illegal on many different levels.
Oh yeah, trust me, I know.
Probably tell someone about that.
I should. I don't know who.
You know who. You know exactly who I'm referring
No,
to.
which one? First initial.
Parental, not maternal.
What?
Parental, not maternal.
Okay.
Because he'll do something about it. Or you can tell,
yeah.
Not to name names, but one of the managers next time you're there.
Jay?
No. No, the other one.
M?
T.
Ah.
Because, isn't you, or you could, oh yeah, you could tell Jay. She would also do something.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Not to get confused with you, Jay, in chat, but...
No,
a manager at their previous place of employment.
Yeah, we're just using their initials more for, more because of,
safety issues.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. I still have ties to that place because I know a few people. So I still go there occasionally to chat with some of the managers and some of my old coworkers because they're great.
Good night. Have good sleep.
Now, I should definitely look into the actual labor laws that are,
of our province.
Yeah.
Because there are different labor laws than any other one.
But the thing is, here, it's pretty,
we actually have one of the most strict labor laws in the country.
And, they are pretty, but it's not...
They're strict for a reason.
But they're not even, from the employer's perspective, bad.
No, they aren't bad labor laws. They're good, they're...
Well, one thing on the paper that we have is avoid scheduling your employees more than 5 days in a row, because even though technically you can, it even says it reduces productivity.
Yeah. You're going to get happy employees if you're scheduling them 3 days in a row, and then a break, and then a day in a row, and then a break. That is, you're more likely to have employees.
If basically what they're trying to avoid happening...
Breakdown. Is, what is it called? What's it called?
Mental breakdown?
No. Burnout.
Burnout. Well, part of the thing is their issue, the thing is, if it's an unavoidable thing and you have to have an employee work 6 days in a row, not the end of the world. It's the concept is, don't have your employee, I'm going to die. Look at my percentage.
Oh, yeah, no, you're dead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, let myself die.
No, just keep trying. There's no point in just letting yourself die. You could do that.
This is my strategy.
No, put the camera up now. And just stare at Freddy.
Yeah. I'm at 4 a.m., but I only have 2% and it just turned 4 a.m. Imagine this is the one I win.
No, there's no way.
No, but, that would be funny.
Oh, that would be hilarious. If, you kept trying, you might have. But I doubt it.
Hi, hon.
Aww.
Have a good evening, Jamie.
Yeah, go to bed, Jamie. It EP time for you. How have you not died yet? Good. There you go. That's fair. 10 o'clock's a good time.
10 o'clock's fair. 6 hours of sleep is reasonable.
Okay.
I kind of want to do a short stream tonight, and then do something different tomorrow.
Well, you do have to at least beat night 5, and then try to beat night 6, and then you unlock custom night. So.
But hun, I'm getting burnt out from this level.
Oh, I know. You could just do another game to kind of just refresh your brain tonight.
No, I'm just.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense why you gotta get up super early.
Why are you going to a different location?
Don't mind the random noises you're hearing in the background. That's sounds from space.
Okay, you got time and a half.
Oh, nice. I love earning 1.5.
Love time and a half. Love time and a half when your employer schedules for 5 hours and everyone else for 5.5. Pretty sure the manager that was in that day was pretty sure there had just been a mistake on it. Oh, nice. Anyone driving is compensated for gas.
Ooh.
In addition to time and a half? Oh, nice. Jamie, can you drive? For whatever reason, I could have sworn you couldn't. Okay. Jamie, how are you getting there? Also, is it by any chance in city? Oh, nice, your manager's driving you. Come on. Different manager is taking you home. Fair enough. Oh, frick. Okay, I'm tired. I'm honestly gonna call it quits here. I just want to sleep. Is that fair? Good chat. Love you. Love you, chat. You guys are amazing. We're gonna raid Chase the Jade. Bye, chat. Thank you for joining the really short stream.